Hello students, good evening. In last video, we discussed about phonology. What is phonology? Phonology is the phone means sound, study of sound, right? And here today we'll discuss morphology. So what is morphology? Morphology is the branch of linguistics that studies the internal structure of words, right? So that studies the internal structure of words and rules governing how words are formed and modified in a language. So, how words are formed and how words are modified. That rule is discussed in the morphology, right? So we'll see that it is concerned with systematic relationship between the form of a word and its meaning. Means it's a very systematic. There is rule between form and meaning. Means how a word is formed and how it retains the meaning, which is the part of morphology. So what are the elements of morphology? The fundamental building blocks of morphology are morphemes. Like the fundamental building blocks of phonology is phonemes. Phoneme is the smallest significant sound. Similarly, morpheme. So building blocks of morphology is morpheme, right? So what are the morphemes? A morpheme is a smallest unit of language. That is the smallest unit of language that has a distinct meaning, right? So that unit has a distinct meaning, or distinct meaning means grammatical function, means that particular word acts as noun or verb or adjective. So that is called morpheme, right? Unlike syllables, morphemes cannot be broken down further while retaining their original sense. So, morphemes cannot be broken down like syllables, right? So, types of morphemes are free morpheme or bound morpheme. Free morpheme is root or base, bound morpheme is affixes. So, let us see free morphemes. Definition of free morpheme is morpheme which can stand alone, right? Is called alone as an independent word, or morpheme can stand alone, is called free morpheme. Example: cat, happy, govern. These are the free morphemes which can stand alone, means root word or base word can stand alone, are called free morpheme. And bound morpheme must be attached. That's a condition in bound morpheme, must be attached to another morpheme, and bound morpheme cannot be stand alone, right? Bound morpheme must be attached somewhere. Why? Because these are the affixes. Affixes, what? Prefix, suffix, infix, right? So prefix, suffixes, affixes are called bound morpheme, right? It can be a prefix, it can be suffix, it can be infix, right? So that is bound morphemes. So bound morphemes attach to a root or stem, so that attach with the root or base, right? Prefixes, pre means before, so attach in the beginning, we know, right? Unhappy, right? So recall, right? Recall or restart, right? So these are the words which attach in the beginning are called prefixes. Pre means before, right? Fix before the root word. Now suffix attached to the end of the word. That is attached to the end of the word. Government, walked, right? So these two are the suffixes because words end attached to the end of the word, right? Now infix inserted into the middle of a word, inserted into the middle of the word. For example, father in law, right? So here this is the infix, right? Another example, commander in chief. For example, commander in chief. So this is called infix. This is. So that is inserted in the middle of the word. It's a infix. Okay. So these are the three affixes: prefix, suffix, and infix. So these are the elements. One, first element, morphemes. Number two, allomorphs. Like allophones, allomorphs are also there. An allomorph is a variant form of morpheme. I am repeating because you should not get confused, and that is why an allophone, remember allophone. An allophone is a variant form of phoneme, means how P is pronounced in different way, in different cases or different words, because of environment, because of uh, before and after phonemes. That pronunciation of P change, and sometime because of puffing, that is aspirated, P becomes aspirated, and sometime P becomes unaspirated. And we had seen the example of pen and a spin, right? That's a pen, first P, primary P, right? A spin. So before P, S, and before after P, I. And that is why same P becomes unaspirated. So that was the allophone. When we speak something, so that sound changes. Same with the same morpheme changes its sound. But meaning does not change. That is called allophone. Now come to the allomorph. So an allomorph is again is a variant form of morpheme. That is the variant form of morpheme. It represents the same meaning. So here also meaning does not change. Same meaning or function, even function does not change, but has a different pronunciation or spelling, right? So sometimes spelling changes, sometimes pronunciation change, but meaning does not change, usually depending on the surrounding sounds, like surrounding phonemes. Here also that is depending on the surrounding sounds, right? Phonological environment, because of phonological environment, that word that the what we can say, that change, variation, that change how allomorph is a variant form of morpheme. It represents the same meaning or function but has a different pronunciation or spelling. Sometimes pronunciation changes, sometimes spelling changes. And the best example always given of allomorphs are s, voiceless and voice sound, or extra syllable, right? So voiceless, voice sound array. These are the allomorphs, phonetic forms. Example, cats, dogs, buses. So whenever we make plural, we put s. But then because of environmental phonological environmental, that sound becomes change, right? Cats, so that's a voiceless. Here s, so that there is no vibration, and that's why cats, in case of cats, because of t is voiceless, so cats become voiceless morpheme, allomorph. But in case of dogs, because G is the voiced phoneme, and that is why, because of this phonetic environment, dogs, so whole dogs, this morpheme becomes voiced, right? So that is, sound is voiced, right? But when we put s in buses, right? So that in case of buses, that's an extra syllable which is sibilant sound. Buses is buses, buses, right? So that's a hissing sound. That hissing sound is sibilant sound, right? So that is extra syllable, buses. That's buses. Okay. So this variation come because of phonological environment. And what is phonological environment? That is before and after words. For example, here before s t is there, here before s g is there, and here before s, right, that's a es is there. And that's why sound changes, and uh, sound, dog's voice or voiceless sound comes because of environment, phonological environment. And these words are called uh, allomorph, right? So that is the allomorph. Now, types of morphology. Word formation. Types of morphology means word formation. So here the process of combining morphemes fall into two main categories. How words are formed. So there are two types of word formation, two categories, right? And otherwise two types of morphology. First is derivational, second one is inflectional. So derivational. Derivational, as name suggests, that's a derivational morphology means derivation is the process of creating a new word, right? Derivation is a process of creating new word, a new entry in the dictionary. So new word means new entry in the dictionary by adding a morpheme to a base, right? How? See, function often changes the part of speech. Derivation means new word, right? When new word is made, so that function changes. So that often changes the part of speech or word class and or the core meaning of the word. So that changes the core meaning of the word. Finally, derivation means word changes into a new form, or we can say that the part of speech that changes, uh, like grammatical function, uh, new grammar, it is formed in a new grammatical function, right? It makes new position, grammatical position, right? So now, order derivational morphemes are generally attached closer to the root than inflectional morphemes. Important. What is derivational morphemes are generally attached closer to root than inflectional morpheme. How? We'll see. Productivity. They are often less productive. They cannot be added to every word of a certain class. How? We'll see. Example is happiness. So happy is adjective. That's a root morpheme, right? Ness is the suffix. So happy is adjective, but when we add ness, so that word class changes and that becomes happiness, right? So happiness is the, that's a adjective. Adjective becomes noun, sorry, adjective become, happy is adjective. I'm writing here, happy is an adjective and it becomes noun, so that becomes happiness. Happiness, right? It becomes noun. So why? Because noun is the name or state, quality of being happy, so that is, meaning changes. Here meaning is happy, that is just adjective. Another example, government. So govern is morpheme, root word, right? And meant is suffix. So to govern something is the verb form, but when we add meant, it becomes noun and means result or product of governing. So that's a product of governing, right? So meaning changes. Government. So government and govern both are different. That's a, from govern, govern and government. So government, sorry, government. So govern is govern the class, they govern, right? The class, right? Who govern, so that is verb form. And government, that's an Indian government, that's a noun form. So that when you add meant, it becomes new part of speech. Unkind, another example, unkind. So un is prefix and kind is an adjective. So unkind, no change, because this is adjective, this is adjective. Kind and unkind. So this is reversal of meaning, not kind, right? So that's a, sometime there is no change. This is important, and here you should know derivational morpheme means a new word is formed and meaning is changed, right? Now come to inflectional morpheme. Inflectional is a process of modifying a word to express different grammatical category. So that is modifying, not new form. That's a modifying a word to express different grammatical categories, right? It creates different forms of the same word. Means form, just form is change, not new word. That modifies a word, not change the word. Same dictionary entry means same grammatical, right? That's a, for example, function never changes the part of speech. It signals grammatical relationship like number, tense or comparison. So grammatical relationship changes, but grammatical category does not change. How? Relationship, number, singular, plural, tense, present, past, comparison. That's a, comparison is, that's a tall, taller, something like this. Okay. Order, inflectional morphemes appear last in the word. Please take care. Inflectional morpheme appear last in a word outside of any derivational morphemes, right? Derivational, even in derivational morpheme, that at last a word is added, and that is called inflectional. That process is inflectional. And productivity, they are highly productive, apply to almost all members of a word class with few exceptions. So very productive. How? English has only 8 inflectional morphemes, all suffixes. So that is important for you. 8 inflectional morphemes and all suffixes means after the words. What are they? Grammatical function, that's a plural noun. So these all are morphemes. S, 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 Ed, Ing, En, Ed, right? So Ed, and then R and S. How? We'll see the example. When we have to make plural noun, we add S. Possessive noun, we add S but with apostrophe. Then third person singular, that's walks, goes, that is, right? Past tense, ed, walk, walked, play, played. Progressive aspect of verb like doing, writing. Then past participle verb, that's a past participle is played, right? And then strength, strengthen, right? Then comparative, that's a taller, tallest, taller, tallest, superlative. Example, cats, that's a plural, cats. Then cats this way, cats, or plural is cats, cats, right? Cats food. So it will be written like this, right? Then walks, that's a third person singular present tense when we say, so that's a walks. Then past tense, right? Sorry. That's a walks, third person, walks, right? Past tense walked. Then progressive aspect verb walking, right? Then eat, eaten, and walked, taller, tallest. Simple example, right? But here you must have noticed that here category, grammatical uh, position or grammatical uh, part of speech does not change, right? That will remain same. Cats, cats, so that's a noun, right? Here cats noun, walk verb, so verb, right? Adjective, so that will be adjective, like this, so part of speech. So overall there are two types of morphology: derivational and inflectional. Derivational, where that's a word category change because it becomes new word, so that's a part of speech change in derivational morphology. But inflectional morphology, that's a part of speech does not change. So that is morphology, right? We'll discuss more, but here I'm winding up. Thank you so much.